Okay, guys, after a long time, welcome back to Surface Interval with Inah Shark. As you guys can see, this took a little bit of time for us to have a nice little setup. We got our sign, bit of plants, a little product display area at the back, and some lights and new camera, new people behind the scene. We got Ayman, we got our usual Sarim, and also we have my co-host Alyssa. She's gonna be doing some of the podcasts with me as a co-host. And yeah, welcome team, and welcome Alyssa.
Thanks, Inah. I'm really happy to be here and part of this podcast. And I think it's really important that we start this episode talking about you, who is Ahmed Inah, aka Inah Shark.
It's a good accent, Ahmedina.
Ahmed.
Yeah.
I've been practicing. There's a lot of Ahmeds in Maldives.
And Mohammed.
Muhammad. Getting the accent down.
Do you know that Muhammad is the most common name in the world?
Yeah. I've realized it being over here now. Not so much in the States, but a lot of Muhammads.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about who is Inah Shark. I think being on social media and having a big following and a successful business, people may perceive you one way, but there's so much more depth to you. And I would love to know more about your childhood, how you grew up, how living with less here as a kid, and your family life growing up, how that made you who you are today. So let's take it back. One of my favorite things about just living in Maldives now and learning from some of the other locals as well, my favorite fact that I learned is that growing up when you were born, maybe until you were, I think, 13, we're still like...
Somewhere around when I was probably 8, 9, 10,
Yeah.
I think.
This island did not have electricity yet. And that I was like mind blown because my parents had electricity and I was like, what did you guys do? So yeah, tell me a little bit about childhood.
Yeah, like you said, obviously Maldives had electricity, but some of the islands, especially remote islands like us, far from Male, we didn't had much electricity or water or even like how you call sewage system, like
Sewage, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so we were not privileged to have any of those. And even I remember going to school or doing homework or studying at the school, we had to use lamps. Sort of, we use kerosene. My dad, he makes it, and he used to sell that for household, and you put the lamp and study next to the lamp. And I think the electricity, if I remember correctly, by the time when we were 8 and 9, it started. We started having limited. I think it was like 3-4 hours a day or something that you get electricity. But it was kind of cool though. If looking back at it now, every now and then we have a blackout, right? In the island, there's no electricity, and then you see how quiet it is, how nice the stars are, and things like that. So that was in a way better than now. But yeah, that's one of the things that we had to deal with it, and that was not a problem at that time. Now we are so used to have all these things, it's a problem now, but back then it was fun, it was
how are we
normal.
gonna charge our phones, our computers? There's no Wi-Fi. How are we gonna work?
We didn't have internet until probably 20 years ago. Like regular internet, like
to a much simpler life.
Yeah.
And then growing up, how was your parents? I know your dad is still a blacksmith.
Yeah.
And your mom, would she just take care of the family?
Yeah. I have 5 siblings, and my dad, he's sort of a navigator. As well, he travels between this island and Male. Little supply boats they had in the past, and he was the sort of captain.
It would probably take days to get there.
Yeah, probably sometimes 2 or 3 days to get there. And but his full-time work is he's a blacksmith, so he make kitchen knives and knives that we use to open coconuts or cut the trees and like the axes and stuff like that. He's a very handy man, and also people when they break their flip-flops, they will come to our house and they will fix it. And also I remember like back in those days, like if your teeth are crooked, like if it is not even, he's sort of a dentist as well. So the way, so someone would come with crooked teeth, and the thing. What do you call like? We call hano, the one that sharpen the knife.
Like a knife sharpener.
Yeah, but this thing is like big, like this big ring that is.
Yeah.
So you can pull the rope and it spins. So he would lay down the person next to it and like hold the mouth and put your teeth on this knife sharpening thing and even your teeth. So it's sort of like
grind them down.
Yeah, grind them down. That's the kind of person he is. He fix everything, including your teeth.
Wow.
But yeah, growing up, I saw him every day. He will wake up for morning prayers, and he will stay in his workshop or making knives and doing whatever. So he has a really good work ethic, and I think all of us, including my siblings, saw that. And
he's still working.
Yeah.
I think he was working this morning. I
Yeah,
heard
he's
just
every
banging,
day.
and I asked my roommate, I'm like, what is that? She's like, that's Inah's dad working.
Yeah, you guys live next to my parents, so you can hear. That's who he is. Even now he's 82 and he's still doing everything that he's supposed to do. And I told him that like now you don't need to do any of it. We have enough money and you don't need to worry. And his health is also sort of degrading now. But he said to me, if he stops, then his mental health is not gonna be the same. So he'll probably get bedridden. So till he dies, he's gonna keep doing the same things. And for my mom, obviously we are 6 kids at the house, so she had the hardest job, I guess, and did everything in the house, and we lived a very humble household. Going even back to the childhood, remember, maybe I'll have 2 pair of shorts, no flip-flops. I was known to not wear shirts because I don't have much. Always running around playing barefoot, like football and
Not
stuff.
much
Yeah,
has changed.
yeah. I still don't like to wear it, at least in the house. Yeah, but so that's how we grew up, and yeah.
And then I feel like that's definitely translated into your work ethic today. But what age did you start working? Did you have to help support the family?
I had started working as like a normal job first when I was 16, 17. But prior to that, when I was 14 or 15 or 13 even, before on this island to build the houses and to, as like to mix aggregate, they collect sand from Tundi beach. So there's a guy, one of our neighbor, they go collect bags of sand from Tundi on their truck, and always they need some guys to load the truck. So early morning, like 4 o'clock in the morning, during the weekends, I would wake up, I go on that truck, and we have to carry sand maybe like 100 meters from the beach all the way to the truck. And
the sand are like little pebbles. It's not like fine refined sand. It's
so
like
you
small pebbles.
Put the sand in the bag, you put it on your shoulder, you walk all the way to the truck and load the bags on the truck, and then you also have to go empty those bags to different houses. And each truck that we load, we have to load, I think, 20 bags of sand. And we get paid $10 per truck. And on a day, we do like 5, 6. So which is what, like $3
10 rufiya per truck.
per truck.
Yeah, 10 rufiya per truck. So that's
Now, yeah, in current, it's probably like $3, $4 a day.
yeah.
And I would save that money. And if I want to buy a football shoes, and I loved playing football at that time, and I remember I bought my first football shoes called Gold Cup. Do you guys remember the Gold Cup boots? Sort of very funny, but anyways, like a football boot. Yeah, so that's how I started buying things for my own need, because my parents didn't have money to buy those things. And then, yeah, I think from there, like because I see my dad working every day, and then I kind of transcend into me. And like when I see, oh, I can work and I can save money and I can buy a shoes. And then when I finished school, yeah, I found a job at a resort, and I went there.
Yeah. And a lot of locals at the time as well would go to resorts because there wasn't much work on the island and tourism wasn't a thing yet. Dive centers weren't open. So you would go to resorts. And then you didn't start in water sports or diving. You started housekeeping or
No, cleaning dishes.
Cleaning dishes. Yeah.
Yeah, so my first job was I went to a resort, and there was in a restaurant cleaning dishes. That was one of the official job for me first time. And it's not, even it's now it's the same. You know, most of the guys, when they finish their school, when I say finish school means like in America, let's say high school, when you're 16, right?
Yeah.
Then we have like O level and A level. So we call, when we finish O level, the most of the guys, as soon as they turn 18, they go to resorts. Back then, it was the legal age in Maldives was 16. I remember. I think, I'm not sure, but yeah. So my job was that, and I enjoyed it. My first salary was per month.
Was it US dollars?
Yeah, let's put it in US dollars.
Give me a year of that you were working. You were 16, so
This is 2003, 4.
300 a month.
No,
More?
less.
No way. 150 a month. $100 a month.
It was $60 a month.
$60 a month.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was my first salary. But I didn't care about that, to be honest. And yeah, I started working there, and so not long. I didn't work long as a cleaner, dishwasher, or whatever you call it. But then after work, I would go to the bar, and back then in the bars they had a designated staff to make the bills. They call a billing clerk. So when the restaurant finished out at the dinner, and then people moved to the bar for some drinks and stuff, and I would clean the dishes and go sit with the guy who makes the bills. And eventually I learned, just by watching what he's doing, and I learned that what he's doing. And then a few months later he resigned, and I went to the chief accountant, and I said, hey, can I take his job? And he was like, do you know how to make bills? And I was like, yeah, I know. And he was like, show me. And I showed him at the computer. I was like, yeah, this is how you do blah, blah, blah. And he was like, okay, you're hired. So kind of when that was my first time like interacting with guests and people, because normally at the back in the kitchen, you just do your own thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was fun. So at the bar, there's always music, DJ, whatever, kind of like started seeing tourism and Europeans and people, how they do and what they do. And then the same thing happened, that night auditor. So when you close the bar, we would take the bills to the accounts guys where they do the auditing for the day, and they're called night auditors. And same thing, I would sit, instead of going dropping the bills and going back to the room, I will sit with the guys and I'll watching what they're doing, how they're doing, and everything. And one of the guy resigned, same story. I asked the chief accountant, he was impressed how I knew the skills. He promoted me, but within like maybe 10 days, I did not like staying awake. I hated it because you have to stay all night awake and do the auditing and like go to sleep, whatever. So I wanted to, I miss being at the front and seeing the guests, and then I changed to as a receptionist. I request me to change to reception, and they changed me. And that was 2004 December. Then the tsunami hit. When the tsunami came, luckily the resort that I was working didn't got affected by the tsunami. Everything else got destroyed around us, all the other islands. So after tsunami, I also stayed there for a bit, and then at that time the government of Maldives was trying to create a civil firefighting team, like kind of elite firefighting team here on the island. 3 different islands here in Adu and one of the island in the north. So each firefighting team has 15 guys, and I was selected for the 15 guys to this island, and I came back from the resort, got into training for firefighting. It was like 8 months intense training, which I loved. The training and challenging part I really loved. And we did the training. All the 45 guys came here, did the training here. We finished the training within, I remember it was 7 or 8 months. Was working as a firefighter on the island for another year or so. That was until 2008, I think. Yeah. And then the new government came, some stuff happened, and I hated it, to be honest.
Did much go on? Like, did you have to fight many fires here, or?
No.
Yeah.
I think we had only one big accident where all the boats got burned. We had a boatyard. That was the only big one. And every now and then the mudland area, like during dry season, it get caught fire, but nothing serious. And we were even trained to do rescue swimming and all of it, but nothing serious happened. So I was getting bored and left the firefighting team and went back to the resort, and I started waiting tables. And all this to say, at my first job, I got to try my very first scuba experience.
When you were dishwashing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I loved it. It was like a discover scuba diving. But back in those days, the entire industry in the Maldives for diving was controlled by Europeans. Big European companies, all European instructors, very, very few locals. And I loved it. And I grew up in the water here on the island, right? So I was always in the water. I love swimming. I love going surfing, spearfishing, or fishing, or snorkeling, whatever, like anything to do with sea. That's how I grew up. And I told this story about my great-grandfather many times. But when I did the Discover Scuba Diving, I saw the instructors, the European instructors. They had long hair, gold beards. The girls were around them. They were the cool guys on the island, right? And I wanted to be one of those guys, but I would beg them to take me diving. No, I want to learn. I want to, do all these things, but they never gave me the opportunity. Oh, they're like, we're busy and blah, blah, blah. And then the next day you will see a girl who works at a reception as a receptionist would go and tell them, and she's from a different country most of the time, and they would take her diving in front of me. But for me, they are busy.
Yeah.
So that was the trend in Maldives, and I guess at that time they didn't want it to be locals to be, I guess, dive instructors or dive masters. But this resort I went to after me working as a firefighter and then joined like as a waiter, they had so my shift starts breakfast around like 5:30 in the morning, and we will serve breakfast for the guests until 9-10 o'clock, and then we have to go back for dinner around 5:30 in the evening. So I had like from 10 to 5:30 free time. I would take my board shorts and my rash guard with me, always to the work, or I would leave it at the dive shop. So when I finished the breakfast, I would go to the dive center and do things for them, clean the floor, whatever, clean the toilets, and hoping they would take me for diving. So imagine, for me it took 1 year to finish my open water course. Almost every day I would go to the dive center and do stuff for them. They're like, oh, same story, we are busy, we'll do it tomorrow or next week, or read this and then we will do this. And then I would read and they're like, okay, we're busy. But someone else, a white guy or a girl, will come who works at the resort and they will take them. It kind of sucks, but I knew I was eventually gonna get it. But it took 1 year for me to finish my open water course, and then I've started my advanced course, and then I got fired from the resort.
Did you finish the advanced course?
No, I didn't. I got fired from the resort for funny reason. But anyways, then I found another job. I think it was a telephone operator, yeah, a resort, and that's where I finished my advanced course while being a telephone operator, and like finished my advanced course. And then I did not like being an operator. It's the same thing. Behind the office, you answering phone, and like people complain all the time, listen to their bullshit. And the next job I found was at a dive center, but a leisure concierge, meaning I would take people for not diving, like snorkeling or fishing or like different kind of activities. But it was a good opportunity because I was working at a dive center as a leisure concierge, so it was easier for me to get my rescue done, get my dive master done. And as soon as I got my dive master done there, I went to Thailand and did my instructor course, came back. And it's also interesting place, even though they gave me a lot of opportunities. Even after me becoming an instructor, they still gave me the salary of a leisure concierge. So imagine, from $60 where I started within, so that was 2003-4, and this was 2009, I was getting paid $250 a month. Even after me becoming an instructor, other instructors were getting paid $1,100, something like that at that time. But they would use me an instructor to do the Discover Scuba Diving and open water course and advanced and all of it. Plus, I was the most experienced dive guide there, so I would go diving and guiding daily at least 4 dives minimum, including the course training dives. Yeah, so that's how I became an instructor.
Yeah. And then in Maldives now, dive masters, you have to be local to be hired as a dive master. Yeah, is it?
Yeah, that's
is it
a law
the same
now.
Is in resorts as well, even if they're like European owned or?
Yeah, as a dive master, you cannot work as a foreigner. Yeah, that's the law, but people find shortcuts and still do it.
Yeah. And I do want to talk about, it's bringing it back a little bit, but growing up and being in the water and living in Fuvahmulah, did you see tiger sharks from a young age?
I have seen, but mostly dead ones though.
Yeah.
I remember like maybe 7-8 years old, I saw one at the beach. Back then, we were like the fishermen were not targeting sharks, but if they caught one, they will bring it back to the beach and they will clean it. So I remember seeing, and yeah, snorkeling, long time ago, maybe 10, 11 years old. We were fishing, spearfishing, we not spearfishing, like collecting octopus.
Yeah.
And I saw one just swimming, passing by. Yeah.
Did you have a fear initially?
No. For us, it was like just any other fish in the water. We didn't had internet, we didn't had TV, we didn't had nothing. Nothing was influenced to our brain. No information about what a shark could do or whatever. So there was no fear. At least I remember there was no fear. And I grew up someone who hated watching TV. Every kid, everyone would like. I think the first time we had TV was 2000.
Wow. So you didn't see Jaws?
No, I didn't see shit. Like even I hated watching cartoon. Like all the kids, they would go. They love watching all these TV cartoons and stuff, and I hated it. I didn't watch it. So my mind was
new. So of course they probably loved it, but
I didn't like it, and I my mind was totally clean. So that's why probably I was not scared to do any of it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you watch TV.
No,
except that one interview.
That TV?
that
I don't know when was the last time.
That interview of yourself at the dive center.
Yeah. That's the
most TV. Okay, so you worked in resorts. Now you're an instructor working in a resort. How many more jobs did you have that you...
So again, Park Hyatt, I was working. That's where I did my dive master and instructor. Again, I got fired from there. Now you see the pattern, right?
It's a powerful part of your story.
I know. I get I don't quit. They fire. Either they get rid of me or I don't know. But it's an also interesting story. Whatever. It's just funny. Nothing. I don't think is my fault, but.
We had the conversation earlier and you're like, I don't know why I got fired. And we were talking about if those moments didn't happen, you wouldn't have Pelagic today or be who you are today. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
And to be honest, when they fired me, and that was very early on my career, right, as an instructor. And so my second job was, as an instructor, was the assistant bass leader position. When they fired me from Park Hyatt, my second job, assistant bass leader. And then I took managerial position, bass leader, like water sports and so everything. So when I got fired from Park Hyatt, I went to this resort called Kiha Maldives, I think they call it now, as an assistant bass leader. And worked there for almost a year. I didn't like it much. And then it's not that I didn't like, so I had to move to America and I quit from there. So I moved to America for a little bit because I have a son. When he was born, I wanted to see if I can live there for a little bit, at least be there for him. Which is a whole another chapter of my life, which
it's the extended version of the episode.
How I made a baby, huh? Anyways, so it didn't work. The America thing didn't work. Obviously, you can't. Me living in Los Angeles, can you imagine that?
No.
It didn't.
I don't even want to live there.
Yeah, it's like interesting place. But it didn't work. I came back, and that was a really interesting decision I had to make when I came back from Los Angeles. So my brother, now my business partner Sharaf, he had a construction company when I came back, and I didn't want it to go back to resorts at all. Like, even though resorts are fun, but you take so much out of you. You're just lonely. You work, you eat, you sleep. There's no social life. There's no life. It's just everything is around there. You don't see your family. If you have a wife or kids, you see them a few times a year, and it's a very toxic environment because everyone is in the contained like environment where there's like
small circle and
you're not allowed to leave the staff area after work you are not allowed to in some resorts you are not allowed to go to the beach or whatever. So there's a lot of negativity in the staff living area. So I hated that and didn't want to go back. So I went and joined my brother on his construction company where they were building this new new resort called Riti Faru, yeah, in Brighton. And I loved it. We were one of the very first people who went there. Started building things and started learn a little bit about construction. I was like the site supervisor for my brother. And when I was there, I got a call from Hattu, which is my business partner now, and he's the owner of Dive Club Maldives, and he had been running Dive Club Maldives for 15 plus years, I think. And I got recommended to him by another mutual friend of mine, and him, and he said, look, he heard good things about me, that he want to hire me, and they had this dive center in Rydal. Funny enough, it's next to the island we were building. So he was like, yeah, we were struggling a little bit, like managing this place. Can you come help us? And I had another offer at that time from a very high-end resort in Maldives. And that offer was, so Hattu was offering me $600 a month because their company was not doing well. But he said if it start doing well, like we can increase the salary. But the other company was offering me about 4,000 plus service charge, and so you would earn about $6,000 a month on all the incentives and everything. So their offer was, here's the SOPs, here's the standards, here's everything. You just come and make sure everyone follows this. But how I had to say it is, here's the operations. We are struggling. Go do whatever you need to do to improve and fix the problems we have. And he said he knows there's a lot of potential to make good revenue there, but for some reason the team there or other issues and things didn't work. So I had to make a choice, 600 or 6,000, you know. But then I know how the resorts work, the luxury resort system work. So I chose the offer from Hattu because then I wanted to learn. For me, it wasn't about money. For me, it's about, I always had a dream. Since I was my first DST that I told earlier, I want to be that cool guys. I want to be the owner. I want to do something that is related to ocean. I didn't know if it was going to be a dive center, it was going to be a water sports or anything. I didn't know, but I knew something to do with the water. So what Hattu gave me is an opportunity for me to learn. So I took the offer and went back to the resort. And as soon as I got in there, I figured out what were the problems. There's a lot of issues with the contract, a lot of issues how we were paying for the fuel, how like so many issues where his revenue was going low and low. Within a year and a half, we fixed it. The company was started making good revenue. And I was enjoying it. I think the 3 years that I was working there, we were the only outlet at the resort that would reach to the budget, the yearly budget that everyone reached to. And I got manager of the year 3 times or 2 times out of 3 years that I worked there. Really, good team, and loved working there and loved working for Hattu as well, like because I had so much flexibility. And interesting enough, November of 2019, I was in America visiting my son, came back from America, and next day the HR director asked me to come to his office, and when I went there, actually had to call me and said, Inah, I got a call from the resort owner, and he was told to ask me to leave the island the next day. I was like, what the fuck? Like, why do I have to leave? So I didn't take it seriously. I thought Hattu, like, why this, what's the reason? And he said he doesn't know, they didn't explain, because we were a third party company, they could do that. So I was confused, and and then I went, and the general manager at that resort at that time, his name is Hilmi. He was a very good friend of mine. He was so impressed with our work, and he will always like, like he was very good to us. And I went and asked him like, why am I asked to leave? And he's like, I have no idea. Nobody gave me any answers. I stayed still 1 week after, and then I was like, fuck this, like, I'm gonna leave. And so I said, Hattu, yeah, I'm leaving. And the seaplane that I was leaving the island, the owner of the resort was in the seaplane. And then I asked him, why did you ask me to leave? Like, what's the problem? We were making good money. Like, I never had any issues here. And then he was like, yeah, I can't explain you why, but you have to leave. Anyways, I left, and Hattu was like, because they had another dive center in Hulumale, you can come and manage the dive center in Hulumale. And I was like, so this was around the time this island, the tourism on this island was growing, and me and Hattu, we were monitoring what's happening, like what happening to the market and everything. And I was told, Hattu, we need to open a dive center here. And he was like, yeah, go open it, like, I'll support you. And then I still waited, because my life at that time in resorts was so good, all the I was the manager. I had a lot of reputation, good respect in the resort, and a private room. My laundry was done every day. My room was clean every day. I could eat from the restaurants, like, the good life, women's, you name it. Yeah, very comfortable life. And it's kind of needed the push for them to fire me from the resort, for me to, okay, now fuck that, I'm never going back to resort.
Yeah.
So so I went to Hulumale, and I remember my younger brother Zihan, he had a room that he was renting in Hulumale. He was like, yeah, you can sleep with me in the room. And I was like, no, I need to humble myself. I need to get out of this comfortable lifestyle that I have had for a long time. So I started sleeping, honestly, on there was a table inside the dive center in Hulumale dive club. I was sleeping for a month on that table. That table is not even longer than me. It's shorter than me. So my legs were out of the table while I was sleeping for a month, and sort of kind of got rid of the comfort and everything that I was so used to in the resorts. And then
no pillow, no blanket,
nothing.
Back to 2 pairs of shorts.
Yeah,
no shoes.
back to the beginning.
Back to the beginning.
And I would even take shower. They only had a toilet. It was not a shower, so I would put water in a basket
from the toilet.
I mean, they had water. Okay. But
trying to vision it.
Yeah, and I'll take shower from the bucket with little cup, putting it over my head. Anyway, you don't need much shower because you're diving every day.
Cute, yeah.
And that's when we started building the business here.
Yeah.
That was my escape plan. And 2019, that was so my brother and my brother and Hattu and one of my uncle, we kind of put all our money into this Pelagic. I think I'd worked 2 months in Hulumale, and so it was January I came back to the island. February we opened with a very minimum equipment. We had just a small area where our office is now, where Anne is sitting.
Yeah.
That's it. And a little bit outdoor area. So that's what we had. And then we February was like kind of just we started getting things sorted, and the boat we brought had like an engine. I think Sarim saw it at the very beginning. We had to, you know,
Crank it.
crank it to start. It's like it is like what Yum 3T 3T engine, whatever they call it. Like anyway, so and half of the time it doesn't start. We would go to Farikede, guess come back up, and that thing is not starting.
Seas are like this.
Yeah. But then obviously the pandemic happened in March 2020.
And there was only one other dive center here.
Yeah, Formula Dive. I mean, Lono was here, but Lono was, I would say, like the longest running operation. And Lono is Lono all the time. You know, he's just one guy. He had a boat, and people come. He would go dive, and his slogan is island style diving. So he would say it's 7 o'clock in the morning. Maybe he will leave at 10 o'clock. You know,
island time for sure.
And I love the guy. You know, I still every time when I was working in resort, when I come back home, I will dive with him. He's funny. He's like he's fun to dive with. And Formula Dive School was like the proper operation at the time running. And luckily we got the land next to them at the harbor, and we opened our little shop and start running, and then pandemic happened.
Yeah. And then how did you choose who was going to work with you? So you're an instructor. You could take divers out diving. Did you have any other certified divers? Dive masters?
I was diving when we didn't properly open, right? We just started having people coming into the dive shop. There was no marketing, then there was nothing when in February when we opened. So there was me mainly diving, and I had like sometimes my brother will go as a captain because he's a captain too. Also, that's his background, and it was just not properly open. It's just. What happened was Formula Dive was the only proper operation on the island, and they had so many guests, like they couldn't cater. And sometimes people will not, whatever happened, and they will just come to, oh, there's a new dive shop, we want to go, and they'll come and we'll take them diving. It was not like properly running. So by the time we were ready, the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
And to come back to your question, it's very interesting time, right? Like pandemic was bad for a lot of businesses, and of course a lot of people lost their life and families and everything. But for me, that was one of the best thing that happened in my business was pandemic. And the reason I say that is Formula Dive School was doing very well at the time, and they were very well known in the market, and they still are. But that kind of shut them down, right? They stopped marketing, they stopped doing anything, and they still had overhead for cost for their staff and everyone they're working, and I didn't have much overhead, so I was able to survive longer, and I was new, I was motivated to do. And the other thing that happened is everyone who were working at the resorts at that time in Maldives lost the job, every single person. So what that did is it gave me an opportunity to hire people like that. I have the people I know, the best of the best people that I know in the industry. So one of the very first guy that I called was his son. He's our manager now, and Hambe. Hambe is this amazing guy who was working with for me and Hatu at that time in Furaveri as a water sports instructor, and he's also a dive master. And I called him, man, like, look, so the pandemic, me and Side, we were like going diving, we were taking some content and putting it out on social media. Some of the videos are going viral, and it started getting followers on the Pelagic page, and I was like, wow, this works. And I made the website and came up with the whole plan with social media marketing, how to do it, and so on and on. And Side was so nice because I know Side, but I didn't had like friendship with him. I know him through other people. And I called him and said, "Hey, I need." He was still doing social media. He was the one of the first guy in Maldives who was doing underwater content in that scale. He was doing.
It's great content.
Yeah, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I'll come." And he bought his own flight ticket. He came to the island. He stayed. He was telling me everything about social media, uh, and then he left, and I continued to do it, and. So before all this happened, when I was still in Fuvahmulah, I found out that I had a tumor in my left hip joint.
Wow.
So we didn't know what kind of tumor it is. Like, it was very complicated because of the position where the tumor is inside the hip joint, and nobody in the Maldives ever had this. So none of the doctors in Maldives had any experience whatsoever. So my ex-girlfriend at the time, my girlfriend at the time, she is a pediatric surgeon, and she had some friends who know friends and blah, blah, blah. Like, anyway, so we figured out, like, everyone came to a conclusion that I had to do a surgery and remove this. And because my mobility and my movement were very limited because of it was inside the hip. And so I ended up doing the surgery in Maldives. And that was September 2020. I did the surgery.
So you open a business, pandemic happens. Now you have hip surgery.
Yeah. And at the same time, I was doing marketing, so July of 2020, Maldives started opening the Maldives was the only country that was open for tourism, I think, at that time. But they didn't open Fuvahmulah for tourism. So I was working with the mayor at that time they had some requirements to open the island, and we even kind of somehow, did the things to open the island.
Found the loopholes.
Yeah. And I did the surgery in September. I got the 6 bookings. I remember 6 bookings. Weirdly, everyone wanted to come at the same time and leave at the same dates. It was November 6th. Everyone booked. What I did was, on social media, the people that were reaching out to me, and I said, look, and I had to rebuild the boat because the boat was damaging all the time. I needed fix the engine. So I need some kind of, I had zero money at this point. So I needed some kind of cash flow. So people who were reaching out to my videos or commenting on my social media videos, I would say, hey, if you guys come when we open, I will give you basically the cost of the everything, right? But my condition was you have to pay in advance everything. I'm not gonna refund you the money, but you can use it as a credit however long, as long as we exist, you can use it. So 6 people trusted me, and everyone booked on the same day. They were going to arrive November 6th, and September still not, the island was not open. I was going through surgery, and I remember when these 2 Italian guy who booked, they because it's pandemic, a lot of scams and everything happened. They wanted to know if I'm real. So when I was at the hospital, recovering from my surgery, they wanted to FaceTime me. And I was like, fuck. I was like, I look like
that was
horribly.
A big thing then. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I told the nurse, can you make the background nice? And I needed to take a shower, whatever. My
You
beard
didn't tell them you were in the hospital?
No. And I was surgery. I didn't know even if I could dive.
You're like, hello.
I was on medication the whole time, so I skipped my medication. I was like, nurse, I can't take medication now for pain. I need to do this call. So she was kind enough, she did the whole setup for me. I had my computer kind of against the wall, and nobody knows I was in the hospital. So the first thing they said, oh, we thought you were a girl, because my name, Inah, kind of sounded like a girl. I don't know why they said it.
ChatGPT.
They were shocked to see a guy, looking horrible. Obviously, after this crazy surgery I did, I was, looking horrible. I was like, yeah, man, and I was like telling them, it's pandemic, it's stressful, like blah blah blah, kind of coming up with excuses. Anyway, so we had a chat. Like I explained to them, and I didn't know the island was gonna be open. I told them it will be open. I guaranteed them it will be open. So after surgery, I came back to the island, worked with the mayor, and we were able to open the island literally the day the guest was supposed to arrive.
Wow.
Like we had the permit.
They let them book tickets and everything without.
Yeah.
It,
I mean, Maldives was open. The
Yeah.
island was not for tourists. So they open, and I was I had 1 month to recover, right? October. And my surgery, I'm sure you guys have seen, is like this big. Even the scar is like, it's crazy. I got metal stuff inside my hip. And I was walking, like like a crooked guy. And so I go, first time, again, my girlfriend at that time, I asked her, like, the wound was still not properly healed. And I asked her, can I go in the water? And she's like, yeah, it's fine. You can still do the dives. And I went, and I was kicking from one leg because my left leg need a lot of physio to get all the muscle strength and everything back. And after first, I was like, fuck, I can't do this. So I called Hambe. And I said to him, look, man, I don't have money to pay you, but I promise you, once we get somewhere, I will pay everything back. Can you come and help me? And then immediately he showed up next day to the island.
Wow.
Literally next day, he was like, just give me a place to stay and some money to eat. So I put him in my parents' house. You saw my parents' house. So he was staying with my parents and me. We all stayed in the same house. And he came and he started helping me with the diving and everything. I will still dive, but it was good for me to dive because sort of physio as well. I'm moving my legs and slowly recovering. And then I hired his son, also one of the guests who came after, wanted to do a photo shoot. When I left from Park Hyatt, I gave all my camera gear to his son, and I called him and I said, like, because I knew he was in Addu, and I was like, do you still have the camera? And he was like, yes. And I was like, do you want to come over and like start taking some photos? And maybe
So his son was photographer.
Yeah, he's like, I had a camera gear when I was working with him in Park Hyatt years ago, and then I gave it to him, and when I left there because I didn't want to do underwater photos, and he still had it. So I asked him, hey, come and you can even work for me. And he was like, yeah, I'm coming. I said, I don't have money to pay, but like, do you want to still come? And he was like, yeah, fine. And then he got on the ferry. He came to the island and he never left.
Wow.
And Rome was our boat crew. And we started training Rome because Rome really wanted to become a dive master. And then you know him, everyone know him, how good he is. And we trained him well. So slowly, during the pandemic, because no one had a job, everyone who I trust and grew up and friends, they all came. Even Sarim, he was like doing bookkeeping for me, like for 3,000 rupiah a month. Just like the bookkeeping, he would come and once a month or so, like do all the bills and stuff, and he would leave. And slowly, I acquired this team, this amazing, incredible team who are my friends and people that I know the best in the industry, at least I know. And that's how this amazing team became. That's why I think pandemic is one of the best things that has happened to me and the business.
Yeah. And just the persistence that you had. Like, that could have totally taken you out, but you stayed persistent and acquired an amazing team and just kept up leveling. But it also was a reflection of how you were even in your first jobs, like always wanting to learn the next thing, because then you make more money. But if that person resigns, you can jump in. And yeah, I think that's a huge part of the Pelagic success and yours as well today.
Yeah, I think so. And his son come in, and also his son's girlfriend, Anne. He told me, like, they at that time they were planning to build a business in Malaysia because she's Malaysian. And I said, look, bring her here. I think we have something, I shared him my vision. I shared Hambe and everybody like my vision to this company. And somehow they believed me, and everyone was like, yo, let's do it. And we brought Ian here. That was the best thing that had happened to me ever in my entire business career.
Bringing Anne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, imagine before,
Mhm.
before she came, I was doing all the emails, reservations, all the flight bookings, and I would go to the airport, pick the guest, and the flight that lands here is 12:30 in the morning, and leaves. That was the only flight that comes to the island at that time, and they leave at at 5 a.m. The same flight we have now, and I have departure guests, and then I would go, don't sleep, wouldn't sleep, or pick the people up, drop them to the airport, and then I still have to dive in the morning. So days like this, I don't sleep. I was working sometimes 18, 14, 20 hours a day. And Anne came, and then suddenly she's so good at what I don't know how she does it. And
I don't know either.
And one day, the day she arrived, she's like, so what? And then I showed her like my little workflow, and it's like she took it over. It's like, and then 2 days ago, I was like, and do you need any help? She's like, no, I got it. And then and then I found myself all of a sudden, like from working 20, 18 hours a day to doing almost nothing, just
like, now
diving,
what do I do?
like, or dropping people sometimes. And what do I do? And then it gave me so much time to focus on things that matters in the operation, and like improve the operation and do things better. And then she still does. We all know her. She's this amazing, I don't know, human angel machine, whatever you call it. So organized and so good at what she does. And same thing. And I was also keeping the accounting thing for myself. And then Sarim, I was like, look, same thing with Sarim also. He started handling all the accounting and bills and things like that. And it just, it came up. It just came up incredibly with amazing people around.
Yeah. I think that there should be another whole episode on Pelagic, because there's also so much more. We didn't even get into the diving, the sharks, which is a huge part of Pelagic and Fuvahmulah's tourism and diving here.
Yeah.
I think we should make a whole episode just on that.
Sure. We can talk about that.
Yeah. But I'm proud of you every day. We've been friends for a couple years now, and just seeing also how you've grown and you just keep going. So before we end this, there's future plans for you personally and Pelagic, but do you want to share a little bit about what the future, like what this next year, and being that it's 2026 now, just what the next year?
Yeah, it's actually 1st of January.
Yeah, Happy New Year,
Happy
guys.
New Year. And this is our new episode with new setup. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more to talk about on business side and how we got here, and Pelagic in February next year will be our 6-year anniversary. And I remember, I think Sarim was there 3 years ago. We had our 3rd anniversary on the beach. We did this really nice setup, and fire people came, and it was fun. And I gave a speech, and I said,
you're a firefighter, just in case anything happened.
I gave a speech, and I said, ask me at the end of the speech. You should have it now, right? The speech, do you have it?
The archives.
Yeah, and I said, ask me in 3 years, how did I do? So from then to now, we have a new hotel, our own hotel opening. Me and the company own 5 other businesses, all luckily good income streams for us. We open in a clubhouse, we open in a restaurant. I'm building my house, which hopefully I'll be moving in April, May this year. So I mean, is in 6 years. Oh, the boat. Yeah, the new boat. We built the speedboat. The speedboat, and now we're building one of the best looking, or if not the best, dive boat there. will be on the island at least, hopefully in Maldives too. So we grew a lot, and I still can't believe, honestly. Sometimes when I think like, hey, how did this happen? Like how we have all these things and uh, able to do all these businesses, and how like personally I still don't understand. And some of my friends and people who really support me will say, do you understand like where you are and how everything is? Like I mean, I still feel the same guys, same with the short and a shirt, and like I don't know. But the future plans are like, for me personally, I know there's company goals with my brother and Hatu, like three of us. We uh we want to obviously grow, but personally, and because my brother and Hatu, they sort of like in a supporting role, and like they gave 100% control over the business to me, and I get to decide whatever whenever I want to do. And having significant amount of money now, and being able to do what I whenever anything, whenever and however I want to, and be anywhere I want to and anytime, travel in comfort, whatever. But it made me realize, it just doesn't, it doesn't make you happy the way you. The biggest realization for me is this year when I did a trip with all of you guys. uh, I enjoyed it so much. I don't want to travel the way I was traveling by myself at all. I don't want to do it. If I do want to travel, I want to travel with the boys and everyone in the team. And also at the same time, I realized, and I've been saying this for last 2-3 years or more, to inspire the team. Look, guys, I want to help you, each one of you, especially the guys who had been staying with me, like Rom, Rolo, Modena, Hisan, and everybody, who had supported me from the beginning and been so loyal to me. I want to invest in them and create multiple businesses for them, and they own that, and like kind of grow the circle around me. And also Sarin, we sort of have now the podcast, we do the content creating, we have done few projects on that, we made good money on that. So the way I look at it is, everyone around me, who's amazing people who I trust 100%. I don't know, like what, like for example, if we want to take all our money, and like I have no idea, but he has never done it. Like he trusts 100%. So with these kind of people, I cannot let them go.
Don't get any ideas.
Um, I don't want to let them go, so that's why I will invest in them, create little businesses, and have everyone successful. And then imagine the kind of fun we're gonna have.
Yeah.
It's not me paying for the whole trip. Imagine if everyone have significant amount of money and we're doing crazy shit together. It's gonna be like unlimited joy.
Yeah.
And they will be taking care of their families, their kids, and everything. It's just more, I think it's a better structure to have.
We can have forks in the kitchen.
Yeah. I can have.
We were looking for forks yesterday in Inah's kitchen, and cups, and
I just need.
all the cabinets are empty.
There's nothing in the fridge.
Just 2 pairs of shorts.
Yeah, I still live
No
the same, and I
shoes.
need the bottle of water. That's it for the house.
But we travel and have a good time.
Yeah. I mean, well, you
Fly
saw how we
Emirates.
travel. When we travel, we travel in style. That's when you're here. What do I need?
Water.
Just water, right?
Finny.
Finifing.
Finifin.
Yeah, that's what
Water
I
and
need.
DVE.
Just to sleep. And I have one cup with the scoop from my creatine.
No, that's your spoon.
Yeah, that's my spoon. That's how simple.
Yeah.
What's the point of having all the money? Like, I don't even need shit. Like, you see, my house is empty.
It's a nice house, though.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this.
Yeah. I mean, we
Like-
made it nice with all of
Look
us.
at
So
these
that's the
plants.
plan for the future. And then once I have my new house is done, I think. So there will be a gym at the ground floor.
And then you'll see Inah Shark.
Yeah.
2026. Inah Shark.
Yeah. So it'll be It'll be fun. You know, everyone
China.
can come. There's the
Silverware.
swimming pool at the rooftop, and I think everyone will hang out there and like. And I deliberately made a big house with enough room so anyone and friends and you guys and everyone come just chill. And what else? Everyone go work out, go up in rooftop, get the cold plunge and swim. And what else we need? We got the sharks.
What else do we need here? I can think of a Target.
Target.
Target?
You're so American. Yeah, nah.
Starbucks.
You only need a bottle of water.
Just a bottle of water.
Yeah. Which you get for 5 rupees.
And hot water in the showers.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need it. I don't take hot showers. I do have hot water. I don't just choose not to.
I know. I think when I stayed here, when I was doing my dive master before you lived here, there was no hot water. And I was like, I think the water's broken. I didn't know that hot water just is like a
but now
semi-luxury here.
Yeah, so
you're welcome for the hot water.
And 26, I do want to grow the podcast, to be honest. I think it's fun. It's just new to the Maldives, at least, in the industry. Yeah. So I want to grow this. So hopefully in the future, we're going to have a lot of different episodes with different guests. And I'm going to go into more details about how to run a business in the industry, and how my all other 5 businesses are growing, how I did that. We're going to have guests, hopefully people like even Ocean Ramsey and Juan. They're planning to come in June next year. And when they come, I'll sit with them. And we have all these amazing people like Zimi and Alex and all these people who visit to the island. So I will sit down with them, talk more about their life. We will do some political stuff as well, not dive-in related political, for example, legalizing the shark fishing and things like that. So we have our team, Ayman, you gotta do some researches, and we keep gonna add in more episodes. And then for you guys, just keep subscribing to us and liking our post and sharing about this podcast, and we'll see where it goes in 26. The goal is to make 1 episode a week. It's hard, but that's the goal.
Yeah, we'll stick to it. I'm really excited. Thanks for giving me the space to chat with you, and your story is really inspiring. So
you heard it many times, but
it's always, there are little new things I learned.
What?
So,
The firefighting.
The firefighting. I didn't know that. Yeah. It's good to know.
All right, guys.
All right. Thanks for listening.